In this lecture, we're going to discuss Ross Lesson 2 on the Hebrew vowel system. You might be aware that in Biblical Hebrew, initially, the language was represented in written form with only consonants, but no vowel points. You may find that very difficult to understand and perhaps hard to imagine that one could actually read a language without any vowels represented. But it's actually not very difficult to figure that out. Let me just write a sample sentence here in English without any vowels, and let's see how you do. You can probably see there that what's represented here is the opening of John 3:16. For God so loved the world. Not too difficult to figure that out if it's something that you already know. And if you keep in mind that native Hebrew speakers already know their own language, the consonantal system of writing was sufficient, given their intimate knowledge of the language, to figure out exactly what vowels should go with those consonants in order to communicate properly and well. It's when somebody begins to speak a language less, when a people group begin to speak a language less and they become less familiar with it, that the lack of vowels and vowel pointing can actually lead to some confusion, but very rarely with native speakers. In Hebrew, then, consonants were used to represent the writing system initially. For example, let's write down the opening word of the Hebrew Bible. Bet, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yod, Tav. The Masoretes, when they received the consonantal text, added the vowel points to preserve the reading tradition that they had inherited. The Masoretes flourished during the time from about the 5th century AD to up to the 15th century AD. When they received their consonantal text and wanted to preserve the vocalization, the vowel pointing, the vocalization would be the oral pronunciation system. They preserved the vocalization with a vowel pointing system, and so they added these vowel points below, beside, or above the consonants. So here we have B, Re, Sheet. The Masoretes added some other things like accentuation marks or cantillation marks, as well as notations in the side margins of the biblical text that indicated things like rare occurrences of words and the like. So they were definitely Bible scholars and left behind for posterity the fruit of a lot of study. What we want to think about, first of all, though, is the stage of Hebrew writing prior to the Masoretic activity of providing the vowel points as vocalization. In Hebrew, only the consonants were represented, but there did come a point when there began to be some confusion about how to pronounce certain words, and so some scribes began to insert consonant letters to represent vowel letters. The most common of these being the letters Yod, He, and Vav. Yod, He, and Vav. The Yod, for example, was frequently used to represent an I or an E vowel. The He frequently was used to represent an A vowel, although sometimes it could represent an E or an O. The Vav frequently represented an O or a U vowel. So, for example, if we took the consonants bet, and tav. Those two consonant sounds could have any vowel between them. What vowel belongs right here? Well, in Hebrew, an A could be there. Bat, that would mean the word daughter. An E could go there. That would be beit, that would be the word house. So, what do? Well, vowel pointing was very helpful at that point. But what happened was the scribes inserted a yod right here to mark that the vowel should be beit, or the E representing the word beit, rather than, say, an A vowel representing bat, daughter, beit, house. So this became very helpful in terms of pronunciation. Let me give you another example. Let's take the sequence of Hebrew consonants ayin, lamed. Well, what could that represent? Well, it could represent the preposition el, that means to or toward, or it could represent, well, let me go ahead and write that. It could represent the Hebrew word olah, which means a sacrifice or burnt offering. So notice I've got ayins transliterated and lamed. It's the vowel pointings that make the difference. And of course there are no vowels here to represent whether this is el or olah. So some of the scribes, when they came to the word olah, in order to ensure that it was pronounced olah, added a final hey to mark the presence of an A vowel. And then somebody coming to this would not be tempted to pronounce it as el, but rather as olah, with an A vowel. And if there was an A vowel, then they needed to pronounce the beginning with the O, olah. So these consonant letters, when they function to mark vowels, are no longer functioning as consonants. They are truly vowel marking letters, and they are referred to as individually in the singular a mater, that's Latin for mother, in the plural matres, and usually another word is added after mater and matres, and it's the word lectionis, which means of reading, mother of reading, mater lectionis, matres lectionis, mothers of reading. Just as a mother holds her child's hands to help him walk, so the matres lectionis, the mothers of reading, hold our hands in helping us to vocalize the Hebrew text. As we pass into the exilic period and beyond, Hebrew became less and less commonly spoken, even among Jews. They began to adapt to their pagan surroundings and acquired other languages like Greek or Aramaic. As Hebrew became less and less used in daily life, the matter of remembering the vocalization of the Hebrew text became a difficulty for those who weren't scholars. And so, as was mentioned a little while ago, the Masoretic scribes began to develop and insert a system of vowel pointing in order to preserve the traditional vocalization that they had received from their forebears. What these Masoretes did was they took the system of matres lectionis that were added in some ways unevenly throughout the text. That is to say, in some places, when we came to the word beit, the pre-Masoretic scribes might have not inserted a yod there, and in other places they did. These were still the same word, but sometimes they had a mater, sometimes they did not. We don't always know exactly why those scribes did or didn't insert a mater when they could have, but the introduction of the matres lectionis was uneven throughout the Hebrew Bible. Whatever the case, the Masoretes came along, and even though they knew this word was beit and they knew this word was beit, they added the 2 dots known as sere to it. They knew that this yod represented the E vowel, A, the sound A, to make, sorry about that, I'm having some trouble here, in order to create the sound A, beit, they did not remove this yod. They left it there. And so now we have a sere vowel, which is an E vowel, a long E vowel, along with the remnant of the matres lectionis system, the yod, which is a vowel marking yod, not a consonant yod. And together they formed a vowel known as sere yod. In this case, the pre-Masoretic scribes could have added a yod, but they didn't. The Masoretes, because they weren't innovators, did not see fit to add their own mater. They didn't want to do that, but they did simply add the long E vowel and left the consonantal text alone. They were interested in preserving, not innovating. So they would have pronounced both of these beit. They both mean house, one spelled with the mater, one without it. In the next section, what I'm going to do is walk you through the different vowels for the Hebrew Bible, and we will take a look at my handout here. Just advance to the next video and we'll walk through this handout.